Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Hope you all made it in despite the traffic, and, sure we got more coming, so come on in when you get here. We are going to start tonight on page 31 with one of my favorite songs, Ya Ribon.
Bruchim Habayim. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to all of you who have come here tonight, whether you managed to fight your way through traffic and get here. Mazel Tov, congratulations. It was a tough evening, and I was there, I can tell you. And welcome to those of you who didn't have to do that and smartly enough are comfortably at home participating in the Shabbat service. It's good to have all of you here, sharing this sacred Shabbat together. Just close your eyes for a moment, wherever you are. Just close your eyes. I just had a sense that, what if we imagined that whatever the surroundings we thought we were sitting in a moment ago just disappeared, vanished? Where would we be sitting? It's like we're sitting in the universe. In fact, we are. Sometimes I wonder, I don't know if that happens to you, if all of that story about there being a galaxy and the solar system and galaxy around, and if all of this is actually not real. But that's just me. I have this wonderment, not very logical. Contemplations of emptiness. But here you are. And we can let go of the week that was sitting in the middle of the universe, and taking a couple of relaxing breaths and saying yes. Yes to this moment, yes to this place, yes to this aliveness each of us embodies. Yes to this gift called Shabbat. This time we dedicate to exploring the inner dimensions of our existence, when during the rest of the week we are obsessed with the outer dimensions of our busy lives, in the story unfolding of the universe. But on Shabbat, we unplug and we explore the inner spaces. We come to rest and sit in the heart space. So welcome to Shabbat. You can pretend to open your eyes and you'll see suddenly the space you thought you were in is back. It disappeared and then it reappears. See? It's fascinating. Oh, so we're going to take another step into our Shabbat. Actually, we're going to do a two-step dance to get into Shabbat. There is always 3 steps according to our tradition to walk into Shabbat. First is to create the sacred space of Shabbat, which we just did together. Second, we enter into Shabbat with the sense of abundance, the sense of enoughness. And whatever we've worked toward this week, there is this overflow we feel in our heart, and knowing that there is a need around us, we surrender that overflow to those who are in greater need than we are. So there's this movement, the spiritual movement of knowing ourselves part of a bigger picture. That all we do is not just for me, but as I often say, always for the greatest good of all. If we could engage life with that mantra, that whatever we do is always for the greatest good of all, then we'll do acts of tzedakah time after time. So that's the second step into Shabbat, this open-heartedness, this gratitude, this open-heartedness that gives back and shares. And then the third step is to light the Shabbat candles, to bring light to the day. You know, for us, we light Shabbat candles, but we have all these lights all around us, whether we're here or at home. But for thousands of years, the Shabbat lights were the only lights, because we had to kindle our candles in order to see anything. And so I like sometimes to turn all my lights off at home when I kindle the Shabbat candles, just to get the sense of how my ancestors understood and connected to the lights of Shabbat when they kindled them. So that's the next 2 steps. So I'm going to invite all of you at home. You can find the donate button, whether on the app, if you're watching with the app, or on the website. Is that where you are to connect to our Shabbat service? And find where it says tzedakah and make a donation there. Those of you in this space, there is a tzedakah box in the back of the sanctuary. And if you don't have any cash on you, there is a little icon there that you can scan with your phone that will allow you to Venmo your tzedakah to Bet Aleph. And we'll share your tzedakah, half of it, with Hillel at the University of Washington. Hillel UW is an inspiring organization that serve Jewish students through their 4 years or more of their residing at the University of Washington. And at this time, they also serve a critical purpose of giving a space for Jewish students to come together when, as we know, there is a lot of hatred and anger on campus, and it's a really important place for us to support. So anything that can afford a safe space for Jewish students, we want to make sure that they are sustained. So that's what our tzedakah, half of it will go to. So as we start the melody, which is just a nigun without words, so you don't need your prayer book, you can rise up and find the tzedakah box in the back. Those of you lighting candles tonight, please come forward and start kindling our Shabbat candles. Every Shabbat, we invite members of our community to come forward and kindle the candles for our community. And every Shabbat, I share with you what they are honoring or celebrating in their lives. We're going to start with Celia on our right. Go ahead.
So I am up here lighting my candle in shameless self-promotion, but also super excitement. As many of you know, I have been a member with the Seattle Jewish Chorale for many, many years, and our Hanukkah concert is coming up. It is next Sunday, December 15th at 4 p.m. at Temple Beth Am in North Seattle. There is a poster up on the wall with the other posters here in the front lobby. It's all the way to the left-hand side that has a QR code where you can purchase a ticket. We do also offer a live stream option, so if you are unable to join us in person, you can stream just like we do here at Bet Aleph. I do recommend coming in person because we always have a killer bake sale.
Of course, it's a Jewish event.
Always food.
Next to Celia, thank you, Celia, is David Krupkin. And David is lighting Shabbat candles tonight, one for his grandmother, Millie Magid, on her 16th yard site, and one for his uncle, Don Krupkin, on his 5th yahrzeit. And next to David is Susan Hoffman. And Susan is also lighting Shabbat candles, one in gratitude for her father, Gerson Hoffman, on his 22nd yahrzeit, celebrating, honoring, remembering the guidance that she received through his love, his life lessons, and his examples that continue to influence her every day. A second candle, inspired by her recent attendance at a family bat mitzvah, in gratitude for her paternal grandparents, Edith Hoffman and Samuel David Hoffman, who had the foresight to come to the US with their children from Polonne, Ukraine, in 1912, enabling their small family to escape the horrors of World War II and have much better lives at all, that would otherwise not have been possible if they had stayed back in Ukraine. Amen. Next to Susan is Kate Elias, and Kate is lighting candles tonight to say goodbye to her older sister, Barbara Schlottfeld, who died early in the week of Thanksgiving. Next to Kate, we have Andres Rubinstein and Christian Navarro, and they are lighting tonight in celebration of their first Shabbat service as official members of Bet Aleph. Mazel tov, congratulations. And this rabbi also lit a candle tonight because his little kid, his little boy, Lior, is turning 21 tomorrow. So, there you have it. The blessing for the light of Shabbat is on page 1 in your prayer book. It is customary for us to close our eyes or cover our eyes with our hand to remind ourselves that the light we are blessing is not the candles themselves, but what the candles reflect, which is the light awakening inside each of us. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שבת. Amen. Thank you all. And since everybody is already standing, we turn to page 5 as we rise for the Baruch Hu. We say together, Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Bless the Eternal, the one who is blessing. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Blessed is the Eternal, the one who is blessing eternally. And we turn the page to find the words of the Shema, the 6 words that are the central affirmation, the mantra, millennia-old mantra of Jewish meditation practice. Words that are meant to help us awaken to the oneness that is all. Join me. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Listen, Israel. The Eternal manifests as all that is. The Eternal is one. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Blessed is the name. The splendor of its presence shines eternally.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Adonai Adonai Echad. Shema Adonai Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. You may be seated as we continue with the Ve'ahavta. Et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha ubechol nafshecha ubechol meodecha vehayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידך והיו לטוטפות
בין עיניך וקשרתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Emet. We turn to page 21 and the song is Hashkivenu.
On page 7.
On page
7.
Okay. Ma'am, I have a different prayer book. No, 21 is good. At the bottom.
I guess it means both things can be true at the same time.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. 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 Ushmor Tzeitenu Uvoenu L'chaim u'shalom me'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu Adonai Eloheinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu Adonai Eloheinu l'chaim. V'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim.
And we turn to page 8 and we rise for the Amidah. And we say together, Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Eternal One, open my lips, that my mouth may declare your praises.
Adonai Sfatai Tiftach ufi yagid Tehillah Tehilatecha
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Leah ve'Elohei Rachel האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל. Please be seated. So it's been a while since we've been together in this space, and the Torah hasn't waited for us. And though last time we met, we talked about the story of Noah, we are way past Noah. I mean, way past Noah. And that's what I mean. We are past the story of Abraham. We're finishing Isaac, really, because we are entering into the story of Jacob and Esau. So you can see how far along we've gone. Where we meet the Torah today is the Torah portion that has Jacob flee from the tents of his family. Why? Well, because Jacob is got a tough life. He's a little bit of a gangster kind of guy. He's not really nice with his family. I mean, how do you blame a kid after you named him the other one, basically? That's his name, is the one who follows, the second fiddle. Literally, that's his name. Yaakov is named because Ekev, which is the heel, is what, according to the Torah, he held onto the heel of his twin brother as Esau was pulled out of the womb first, and Jacob, followed him. So he's the second born, and that's his name, the second guy, the one who follows the other. I mean, what kind of a name do you give a kid? Like, this is going to traumatize the poor kid. I mean, this is your name. Your name is the second one. The follower, the one who follows the other one. The Esau, the real man, the real kid. That's going to screw you up. You're gonna grow up in that household, and Jacob, as Isaac actually is the same, but Jacob just becomes, the mama's boy. He's like, I don't want to deal with all the guy's stuff because it's all between my father and his firstborn son. Anyways, got nothing to do with me. I'm going to be, he's described as the kid that stays in the tents with his mom and he studies the Torah. I don't know where he got it, but he studies the Torah because, Sinai hasn't happened yet. It's going to be a little while longer. But nevertheless, the rabbis describe him as a fierce Torah study, yeshiva bachur, I guess you would call him. That stays in the tents. But then there is this episode where it's time for Isaac, he's blind at this point, his father, to give his blessing to his firstborn son. And Jacob and his mom just jump on. And not only does Jacob steal his brother's, firstborn position, but he tricks his dad to give him, instead of his brother, the blessing. I won't get into that. Was last week's Torah portion, so come last week and we'll talk about it. But that's what happens, and Jacob has to flee because Esau just found out that he lost everything because of the traitor that his brother is, who is our forefather. Great. Awesome. And he packs his stuff. His mom says, go to, members of my family in Haran, and Lavan will receive you and care for you. Just go. I'll try to appease everybody behind. So that's what happened. That's where we find Jacob fleeing his home, basically. Running away from his brother's wrath, who has vowed to kill him for what he's done. Which, can you blame him? I mean, it's a big deal. And on his way to finding Lavan, after he exits abruptly Be'er Sheva, where he was, as the night falls, Jacob has to find a place to sleep. He finds a place to sleep. He sets himself up with little rocks around his head and one as his pillow, and he falls asleep and he has this dream. And we all know the dream. The dream is the dream of the ladder. Jacob's ladder happens this week. And you know the story. He has this vision of the angels rising and coming down and going up, that ladder, up and down, and at the top of the ladder there is God, whose booming voice in the dream, in the vision, tells Jacob not to worry, that God will protect him, go along with him, and see him on his journey, wherever it is that he's going next. And Jacob wakes up. And it's one of the most fascinating sentences, most fascinating verses in the Torah. Jacob wakes up after having this vision of this dream and says, as the Torah says, waking from his sleep, Jacob said, "Truly, the Eternal is in this place, and I did not know it." Truly, the Eternal is in this place, and I did not know it. In Hebrew, he says, "Yesh Yod He Vav He b'makom hazeh ve'anochi lo yadati." Yesh Yod He Vav He. Yesh. So the word yesh in Hebrew means there is, usually translated as there is. But here, there is Yod He Vav He. It's not really good for English, so the translators, says the Eternal is in this place. Yesh. So yesh means there is, but it also means yesh, like somethingness, something. It means being, the yeshness of things, the beingness of things. It means like the essence of something as well. But mostly it means the manifestation of the somethingness. Maybe Jacob is actually saying, truly, the essence of Yud He Vav He is in this place, and I did not know it. Maybe the essence, the somethingness of Yud He Vav He is in this place, and I did not know it. Now, Yud He Vav He, we all know this. Yud He Vav He is the tetragrammaton, the 4 letters of the ineffable name of God. It's not a name, it's not a word. It's unpronounceable at multiple levels, but the intention behind the teaching that this is the ineffable name of God, the word that we cannot pronounce, because it's not a word, it's a pointer to a reality that transcends words. And so you can have a word to point to something that transcends word. That 4 letters means nothing. It's not an actual Hebrew word. It's complete gibberish. And it points to the aspect of the divine that is the unmanifest. The nothingness, the transcendent aspect, that which is prior to any creation coming to be, that from which all creation comes to be. And there is something really powerful to have in that very verse, those 2 words side by side. Yesh Yud He Vav He b'makom hazeh. Right? To have Yesh and Yud He Vav He. It's as if Jacob was awakening, literally, in the story, waking up, awakening, and realizing somethingness and nothingness are in this place. And now we're getting already in the Kabbalistic level of interpretation. So if you're ready to go on the Kabbalistic ride with me, I'm going to start to pull you in. Yesh, somethingness, Yud He Vav He, nothingness, are in this place. They are yesh, the something and the nothing are together in this place. That's what suddenly Jacob is waking up to, awakening to. In Kabbalah, there is this universal principle that says that everything that exists is yesh mi'ein. Something out of nothing. All that exists is created ex nihilo. Right? Everything that is created out of nothing, out of nothingness. It appears out of nothingness. Just like every sound appears out of the silence and then returns into the silence when the sound is stopped, it becomes silence again. And everything arises out of nothing, bless you, and then return into nothing. Everything is like that. Yesh mi'ein. And ein is a really good other word in Kabbalah for Yud He Vav He. It's two words that are interchangeable. Ein, nothing, nothingness. So yesh mi'ein, somethingness out of nothingness. However, in our everyday perspective, in our everyday life, we live under the illusion that this somethingness is separate from the nothingness. Right? The sound that is arising from the silence is different than the silence. It's separate. It's a different thing. It's a different thing. And that's how we live. We live in a world that basically focuses almost exclusively on the yesh and not on the ein. Like we connect to a reality of somethingness. Even the concept of nothingness is a little bit hard for us to fathom. We don't really have a good sense of what nothing is, because there is no place anywhere where there is nothing in the life we live in. So we are a little bit baffled by all of those Kabbalistic teachings. And maybe it's because, as our teacher says, we're like Jacob, we're asleep. We haven't woken up yet. We're asleep. There is, according to Kabbalah, there is this husk. It's called klipot. They call it klipot. And the klipot is like a husk that is covering reality, that is covering the nothingness, the ein that is within everything by this cover. There is this cover, this husk that is hiding, that is concealing the ein from our eyes. We only see the outer manifestation. We only see the yesh, and we are oblivious to the ein that is just right there, behind all that is, within all that is. Just like every sound, right? Out of the nothing. So you have to have the nothing, but you don't realize that you need the nothing for the sound to exist. You need the silence for the sound to exist. No silence, no sound. But because you live in the world of sounds, you don't have a sense of what could the silence be like. And that's what spiritual teachers said, that we're asleep. It's not like we're actually asleep. It's like we're not aware or awake to be able to sense the silence underneath the sound. So in Kabbalah, it's called klipot, husks, concealing the somethingness conceals the nothingness, hides it. And yesh, somethingness is all we know. But when Jacob wakes up, he says, oh my goodness, both yesh and ein are in this place. Both something and the nothing are both here. They're both here in this place, as this place. Are you still with me there? Yeah, Kabbalistic teachings can be a little difficult sometimes to penetrate, but I'm doing my best. Comes in Jewish practice, because Jewish practice is almost exclusively geared toward helping us see in the somethingness to touch or have a sense or a feel for the nothingness. For example, we joke a lot about, in Judaism, there is a blessing for everything, right? It was in Fiddler on the Roof. You can watch that again to get that quote, because, they asked the rabbi, since there is a blessing for everything, is there a blessing for the Tsar? To which the rabbi says, the very famous quote from Fiddler on the Roof, there is a blessing, and the blessing is, may God bless and keep the Tsar far away from us. Far away from us. So there is a blessing for everything. Well, what does that actually mean? It means that we are to engage in the world looking for places to bless, to recognize the sacred in every moment, in every encounter. with the foods that we eat. There's a blessing for every kind of food. It's like almost limitless. There's so many different variation of foods, actually, that you really have to rack your brain about, okay, what blessing goes for, the toast? We know what the blessing is for the date or the apple or, the fruit of the vine, but it gets really complicated. And the point is that we seek to awaken to the nothingness in every somethingness that we behold, or that we take part of, that we eat, that we meet, that we play with, that we see, that meets our senses, basically. Everything that meets our senses is an opportunity for us to bless. And we say, Baruch Ata Adonai, blessed piece of bread, Ata Adonai, you are nothingness. You are nothingness, Eloheinu melech haolam, that manifests as piece of bread. That's what we say when we say Baruch Ata Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam. You are the emptiness, piece of bread, apple, rainbow. There's a blessing for the rainbow. You are emptiness that appears as the rainbow. Right? So there's an ongoing practice every day, in every moment, to keep telling ourselves, oh, Ata Adonai, you are emptiness, and you are emptiness, and you are emptiness, and you, and me, and the camera, and the computer on which everything. Baruch, Ata Adonai, you are Yud He Vav He. And all of that, all the mitzvot and all the blessings, is to help us chip away at the husks, to help us unveil the coverings of reality and reveal the divine underneath everything, at the core of everything, the source of everything. And it's the process that in Kabbalah is called bitul hayesh. Some of you might have studied Kabbalah a little bit, know that expression. Bitul hayesh, the nullification of the somethingness. We nullify it. We recognize its illusory quality. It's just a veil. All of manifestation is a veil of the most divine, of the most sacred. And so Jewish practice is really a practice of making the world sacred again, holy to us again. Because when we live in a separate kind of sense of self, we don't see each other or the world as sacred. I mean, why are we polluting and destroying our biosphere? If we saw the biosphere as absolutely a sacred manifestation of the most holy, we would never dare to destroy it, to pollute it, to global warm it, whatever you want to call that, right? So we've lost this sense of the sacred, which Jewish tradition is exclusively focusing on to reawaken within us, And it's called bitul hayesh, the nullification of the somethingness. But it's nullifying the rigidity or the sense of permanence that we have of the world around us, but also it seeks to nullify. It's used to be to point to the nullification of the ego as well, right? That the ego is also a false manifestation, a false appearance that is a product of mind. And so this also, all of these practices is there to help us be surrendered, right? To have our ego be surrendered to the flow of life, to the principles of Ein becoming Yesh. And when all of that drops away, all that is left that we recognize, that we awaken to, is Ein, is nothingness, is the silence that is the source of all the sounds. And ultimately, Jacob awakens to both perspectives. Right? That's what I love about that verse. Jacob awakens to both, and he understands that both are united in that moment, waking up from his vision, from his dream, from his, for me, he was in deep meditation that opened his third chakra or 25th chakra, I don't know what, and he had a great understanding of reality from a different place. And he sees that somethingness. That's why Yesh and Yud-He-Vav-He are together side by side in the sentence, because he unites them both. You see them both as one, connected. Somethingness and nothingness are this place. That would be, from the Kabbalistic perspective, how we would translate that. Can you see how we got from, God is in this place and I did not know it, to somethingness and nothingness are this place, are this moment. And I, Anochi, did not know it. I did not know it. I wasn't aware of it yet. It was masked, it was covered, it was concealed from me. And so he understands that both Yesh and Ein are one. They are not two. They are not two. They are two sides of the same coin. Everything is nothing. Everything is God. Incredible, incredible teaching from the Torah. It's such a deep and powerful Kabbalistic teaching. And it's really an invitation for us to recognize the oneness of it all. And we connect with that. We understand that. When we conceptualize, it's all one. It's all one. Everything. Everything is God. It's all one. And we love that. We touch, it feels like it touches us at a deeper level because we recognize the truth of it. But then we have a problem. I mean, we understand it, we may love it, but it's really hard for us to let it in. It's hard for us to let it in. Why? Well, because we have a problem with the notion that it's all one. I mean, we love to say these words, but we have a real problem with it. Because if everything is God, it's all one, then there is no room left for me. Because if there is me that is other than God, then not everything is God. Then it's not all one. But if it's all one and everything is God, where is there any room for me? So now we are wrestling really with the concept because we understand the teaching. And it's very ancient. It's thousands of years across the entire planet. Teachers from all traditions have come and told us everything is one. I mean, Shema Israel was inscribed in the Torah 3,000 years ago, so it's not something new. But we still are really wrestling with it. Because if everything is God, if it's all one, if the one is that which manifests as everything, well, where do I fit in this now? Where is there any room for me? If everything is God. There is no, if God is the totality of all there is, you see the problem we have? Scary. And the ego gets really scared by these kinds of teachings. So if everything is God, then me doesn't exist as a separate entity. It doesn't. Everything is God. And that's a problem for me. For the me that is me-ing, moment to moment. I mean, it boggles the mind, doesn't it? If everything is God, then who am I? What am I? It's no secret that, teachers like Maharshi or Nisargadatta Maharaj have used that question as the basis for meditation. Who am I? What am I? Because they were faced with this conundrum, with this mind-boggling thing. It's like, if everything is God, then there is no anything outside of that. There can't be anything outside of everything. Because it's everything. So who am I in this? What am I? And they've made this, and our teachers too, the central pillar of the practice of awakening. Because the answer to that question is the holy grail of a human life, as far as some of us are concerned. But we can't get to dualism, to non-dualism, which is what we're talking about right now, like that. It just doesn't happen. Because again, the ego is scared. And so we need to give the ego something to gradually wake up to that. So that's why we have all the blessings and the mitzvot, because then we get to practice. We get to practice one blessing at a time, one mitzvah at a time. And then we have someone like Rabbi Joshua Heschel who says, and those who are taking my class have heard me already quote him several times, this invitation from our rabbi, or one of the greatest rabbis of the 20th century, who says, like, the first step of spiritual awakening is developing and nurturing within each other, within ourselves, a sense of awe, a sense of wonderment. He called it radical amazement in the face of this reality, which is a reality of husks, hiding, concealing the eternal one of all being, embodied as each of us. Radical amazement, cultivating a sense of awe and wonderment about life, about all that is around us. And that's from that place, the true blessing and the true mitzvot come about. So that's my invitation for us. You know, we're not like Jacob yet, but we can begin the process by cultivating that inside of us, to work to make this world sacred again to us, to see the sacred in every moment and in every one, in every place. God is in this place right now, but it's scary to understand that, right? I mean, how would we be, you and me, right now, right, if it dawned on us that God is right here? I mean, we would have to prostrate ourselves on the floor. Like God said to Moses at the burning bush, just remove your shoes. The place you're standing on is absolutely sacred. But if it dawned on us that this moment, this space, God is in this place. And the only reason we're not flat on our faces on the floor is that, like Jacob, we don't know it yet. So let's practice chipping away at the veil, just one practice at a time. That one day we might, like Jacob, wake up from the dream and say, "Oh, now I know." Ken yehi ratzon. Amen. And to go with that, to go with recognizing that this is the house of the One, that the divine presence fills this space and every space. We're going to use another mantra, one from Reb Nachman of Bratslav. Shifti beveit Adonai. Kol yamei chayai. I remember, recognize, know that I dwell in the house of the One every day of my life, every moment of my life. Page 30 in your prayer book.
Shifti beveit Adonai, kol yemei chayai. Shifti beveit Adonai, kol yemei chayai. Kol yemei chayai, kol yemei Adonai, kol yemei chayai. One thing I ask of the one, only that do I seek, to dwell in the house of the one, all the days of my life, all the days of my life, all the days of my life, to dwell in the house of the one, all the days of my life. Shifti bebeit Adonai, kol yemei chayai. Shifti bebeit Adonai, kol yemei chayai. Kol yemei chayai, kol yemei chayai. Shifti bebeit Adonai, kol yemei chayai.
I want to invite you into a short meditation. Maybe we can practice a little bit, removing the veil, the klipot. It comes from a teaching I received in one of the meditation retreats I attended some years ago. I've shared it with those who meditate with me during the week. But I feel it's very powerful to help us try to see a little bit behind the veil. So for now, just close your eyes and find your breath. And allow the body to simply relax. And as we start in this meditation, we start to notice there's all kinds of busyness happening as soon as we close our eyes. Suddenly we are more aware of the sensations in the body. Suddenly following the instructions, we even may be aware of the breath. And suddenly it gets really loud. So many thoughts that at first were kind of in the background because we were focusing on whatever was going on in the room. But now that we closed our eyes, nothing has changed, but now it appears very loud. So many thoughts. And what happens automatically is that we feel a sensation in the body, the belly rising and falling with the breath, the sensation of the breath coming through the nose, feeling the seat beneath us, the back of the chair against our back. Maybe we are a little warm, maybe we are a little cold. All kinds of sensations. And as soon as we are aware of a sensation, we say, oh, my sensation. I am that sensation. I am the body. I am this sensation or that sensation. I am the breath. And we do the same with all the thinking that is happening. I am the thoughts. We immediately, automatically, there's nothing really that we do consciously. It's just we see a thought arising and we say, oh, this is my thought. I am thinking. I am this thought or that thought. Now, the teaching that I received is what follows. Before I am this, or before I am that, I simply am. Before I am this, or before I am that, I simply am. I can feel this, I can know that thought, this feeling, that sensation. But before I am this or that, I simply am. And you see, it's not a thought that I am trying to point to. There is a kind of a feeling, a knowing that before this thought I am before this thought. I am not completely or totally that thought. The thought is here, but I am before that. There is who I am that is here, whether there is a thought or no thought. The thought is arising, but it's not who I am. I am before the thought. I am before the sensation. There are all kinds of sounds arising, but they are arising out of the silence. Is there a silence that I am before the thoughts, before the sensations, before emotions, before desires? Can we have a feel for that? It's not a concept. It's a felt sense of being. Before I am this, before I am that, I simply am. Before I am this, before I am that, I simply am. When I am this, when I am that, this is the yesh. This is the somethingness. Before I am this and before I am that, when I simply am, this is ein, this is the nothingness. This is the silence. It's right here. I am the one, I am, I am. 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 And may our ability to recognize that I amness that exists prior to any manifestation within us bring healing to ourselves, to our heart. And may we include all the people we know and love in the radiating power of the healing that can awaken from this place. May all those you have lovingly inscribed on our community's healing list awaken to the healing within them as well. מי שברך אבותינו אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, מי שברך אמותינו שרה, רבקה, לאה ורחל, הוא יברך וירפא. את David Mark, Daniel Clark, Maxwell Bernard, Lynn Carroll, Lawrence Stern, Elizabeth Heath, Maggie Pisner, Ronnie Shapiro, Margaret Bergman-Ness, Amy Lowe, Noah Clark, Carlos Taylor, Deborah Liebes, Edward Tensman, Laura Sack-Klein, Julie Wilchins, Darcy Donegan, Judy Cohen, Michelle Cooksley, Claire Kelly, Wendy Zeev, Suzanne Frechette, Ginny Waters, Jim Halverson, Zoe Sutter, Ann Adams, Michael Burkhard, Ruth Oppenheimer, Kathleen Anderson, Marianne Spiegel, Sharon Mayo, Jack Chase, Joyce Yachminoff, David Brooks, Lois Brown, Christy McLean, Zareth Irwin, Anne Smithwick Selman, Evelyn Kaufman Yaari, Alan Grant, Janet Nelson. And we name all of those we include in the circle of healing tonight in our heart, as we imagine them with their face shining, the divine light within their heart, healing each and every cell in their body. ימלא רחמים עליהם לחזיקם ולרפאותם רפואה שלמה, רפואת הנפש, רפואת הגוף. And as the lights come back into the sanctuary, we turn to page 34, Refa'enu. And we have reached the concluding moments of our Shabbat service together. We are on page 12. I invite you to rise for the Aleinu. And we say together, we are the ones given this way of praising the Holy One of all being, that we might understand and express the greatness of the one who shapes all creation. We celebrate our uniqueness and that of others and seek to discover the wonder that we are. Therefore, we bend the knees, we bow, and we proclaim our gratitude before the ruler of all rulers, the Holy One of all being. As it is said, then we shall truly realize the Eternal One as universal being. And on that day, the unity of being shall be celebrated by all. Aleinu leshabeach la'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. And as we continue on page 13 with the Mornis Kaddish, we take a moment to remember the names of those who have made their transition from this level of being and are continuing on their journey back to Source, back to remembering the silence that all of us are. On this Shabbat, we hold in light of memory those who have made their transition in recent days and weeks, for those for whom we still hold Shiva or Shloshim. Anne Smith, mother of Sharon Leroy. Barbara Schlotfeld, sister of Kate Elias. On this Shabbat, we also hold in light of memory those who have made their transition this past year. Asher Etkin, Marilyn Coleman, Dolores Heller, Mike Iverson, Ruth Kalish, Ed Stutner, Debbie Levin Herman, Jackie Curran, Joe Geller, Philip Herzog, Valerie Shanke, Fatima Hersey, Joe Reddish, Aubrey Chase, Erica Pearl, Janet Crowley, Wendy Schaff, Dolores Amond, Dina Griggs, Thomas Atum O'Kane, Benjamin Jacob Meadow. On this Shabbat, we also hold in light of memory those whose yahrzeit, the anniversary of their death, happens at this time of the year. Royal Miller, Ruth Spector, Gerson Hoffman, Don Krupkin, Millie Magid, Wendell Nelson. And we name in our heart all those we remember tonight as we share together in the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba, be'alma divera chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon, u'v'chayei dechol beit Israel, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא. ויתהדר ויתהלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו. לאלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה, ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום, עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו amen. May the one who creates harmony above make peace for us, for all the household of Israel, and for all the peoples of the world. Amen. You may be seated. Just a few announcements before we close with our final song will be Oseh Shalom, so it's the last verse of the Kaddish again. Bet Midrash, our study of the Guide of the Perplexed, continues tomorrow morning at 10:30. We're still studying the way that Maimonides is understanding, interpreting, translating the first verses of Genesis, which has been quite incredibly fascinating. So we're getting to the tail end of that. It's time. You can join in anytime. It's either in person across the street in the Bet Aleph office, the little White House over there in the corner, or you can join us online at 10:30. Just email me and I'll send you the link to join us on Zoom. Next Shabbat, 2 weeks from today, I think it's the 20th, we'll be celebrating a little bit ahead of time, Hanukkah. This is one of my favorite Shabbats of the year. Everybody comes with their Hanukkah menorah, their Chanukiah, bring all 9 candles, you know, those stragglers, the one you missed the last few years, or get a new box. And we'll light, all of us will light our fully lit Chanukiyot together. We'll say the blessings, of course. We'll sing the songs of Hanukkah, and I might share a few Kabbalistic teachings. Who knows? Weirder things have happened. So we'll see what goes. But yeah, please don't miss it. It's so gorgeous and beautiful just to see all the candles lit together. Hundreds of candles, just beautiful. On Sunday the 29th in the morning, I'll be speaking here. I've been invited by Center for Spiritual Living to be their guest speaker. So if you don't have anything to do on December 29th, I mean, there's nothing coming up. You're welcome to join here. There's one service at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I think the other one is at 11. I'll be there for both. Our annual meditation retreat is at the end of January, the last weekend of January. I think it's January 24th through 26th. Our registration is open. Please join us to explore more deeply the silence underneath all the sounds. That's it. Join us downstairs after the last song for the Oneg. If you're here for the first time, I'd love to say hello and welcome you and learn a little bit about you. If you're here for the instance time, I'd love to just catch up. How are you doing? Sometimes, members of the community come to me and said, "You always talk to the new people." So I'll make sure to talk to the not so new people as well. I promise. Oseh Shalom.
They
Shabbat Shalom. If there are a few of you who could stay behind to help us shift back the sanctuary into CSL, especially those who are new members who lit candles tonight. I don't want to point any fingers, but that would be very much appreciated. It's part of, hazing, part of your hazing.
What can I do to help? How you doing?
Hi, good, good. Cindy will tell you.
What can I do?
You're welcome.